So this is the new Mark 8.5 Facelift Golf, and I'm going to go through essentially, well, the full exterior around the car, all sort of like the new features, and sort of pause and kind of go over certain bits as well, because I spent the time at SMMT actually going through this car. And a lot of the time, you know, it was quite busy and quite full on. So this is going to be a bit of time to kind of reflect on it, reflect on a little bit of the design, and sort of explain to you a few of the main bits around the car. Yeah, and basically to just go through that. So I'll continue playing this for now, because I had a few questions from a few people, some sort of saying, oh, you know, what's actually changed with the design? Well, I think from the outside, and actually this is why I'm starting on the front, and if I pause it here, that's kind of like the main part of it. So you've got what I kind of like about the design, and it's very similar actually with the Tiguan as well. You've got essentially the front. It's almost like it's like a coefficient drag. That's kind of what I feel that a lot of manufacturers are going to for a lot of efficiency. They have brought back the radar sensor at the front as well, so it's a little bit more visible. This particular car is in match trim. You know, and this was actually one of the first ones in the UK, so that's super exciting that, yeah, to have the opportunity to experience it and to kind of go through it. Also, just a few things, that VW badge I believe does illuminate as well. I'm not too sure if that needs to go through some sort of UK legislation to go through, or if it's a certain option that you can get on your car to have. Certainly bits of the design on the front with the lights, I recognised it as sort of like a facelift model. That was kind of the main part for me when I sort of saw it in the distance. Bear in mind, it's in this grey. I believe it's called Moonstone Grey. That was a big part for me. Don't get me wrong, it's not a huge change. It's just a midlife facelift. And the biggest stuff was around the infotainment, which I sort of discussed in my previous video as well. But that's kind of what you can see at the front. And I actually really do like those slats. And as I kind of mentioned, it's very similar to the Tiguan that I tried as well. I think it looks good. I think it looks modern, and ultimately it's more efficient. That's how it works. This particular car was a 1.5 petrol. And if we kind of play it on a little bit more, just from the outside, kind of go a bit more into depth with those lights and how they kind of streak round to the outside. Different sort of combinations as well. On the side, there's not as much change. You know, it's very similar to the standard Mark 8. And it will be interesting to see what like the GTI models do, or the R models, which I'd love to get a hold of. At the back, the rear light sort of cluster is a little bit more sleeker, I'd say. But again, it's very, very hard to tell. Volkswagen also offer different wheel designs as well across their range. That's something that's changed. And yeah, just to kind of bring things in, I feel a lot of the money that has gone into this car has gone into the inside. It has gone into that new infotainment. It has gone into things like IDA with ChatGPT, and that's been kind of like a big part. As we kind of play it on a little bit further, just looking around the front. And again, one thing, looks are subjective. Let me know what you guys think. You know, I didn't really have a big problem with the Mark 8. I felt it looked really, really nice as a car. So the 8.5 has just sort of made it a little bit more sleeker. That's how I kind of see it from the exterior point of view. And yeah, and the Golf has that incognito kind of mode. That's the whole point of a Golf, to be a little bit discreet. So I feel it still kind of achieves those kind of elements. And you can get it in brighter colours should you wish as well. You see a lot of other cars around there. You've got like the Passat to my left as well, which I kind of went through the infotainment before. You've got an ID Buzz there. You've actually got the original Mark 1 Golf, which Volkswagen kindly brought along too, just to show the differences. But there's the rear kind of slam, like bang on. Sort of like the rear diffuser. Just tiny little elements which look a little bit different. Again, I'm interested to see what more of the performance models are going to look like as well. But that's just a little bit of just the badge that they kind of added there too. And yeah, just the look from the side of kind of the car and checking through that. Moving on more to like the interior elements of the car. And again, I discussed this quite a lot in my previous video. Yeah, the seats were really nice, super comfortable. I had no complaints, just sort of chilling out in it. I spent a bit of time sitting in it. And as I pause it here, those, like, that's been a big replacement. They've sort of reverted back to essentially what is in the Mark 7. And that's just physical buttons. That's all it is. You've got your cruise control there. You've got your things. I like that. I have a Mark 7 Golf myself. I think it works well. And you've got the screen. This particular one, I believe, was the 10-inch screen. But you can get, again, get confirmation from sort of Volkswagen, because I know in the Tiguan you can get up to 15-inch. I'm not too sure if that's available with the Golf. But what I'll do is I'll just check on Volkswagen's website as well, and we'll go through that too. But just for the moment, I'll just show you these kind of clips and scrolling through. You've got sort of like the mats. I like the space. It's a Golf. It does all you kind of want. There was no change in that. You can change like the ambient lighting as well around things. The quality, I have to say, was good. You see me sort of feeling it up sort of on the side. I felt it was actually a little bit of a step on from the Mark 8. Excuse the dog sort of making noise in the background here. And that's nice because it's a premium car. Just with like the door handles and bits around that, it's a real kind of like improvement, I'd say, and a step on from the Mark 8, which is again positive. That's the kind of changes that you want. Again, this was just me and my kind of subjective feel, kind of checking around it. You still get a few little plastics around, but it's not too bad. I did have sort of like a little more of a check, sort of going through it and sort of giving you an idea of just sort of like down the side of the car. Again, not massive amounts of change, but yeah, to kind of see the first one was pretty special, I feel. And yeah, a bit of the wheel design too. And it was great to see that first car and just sort of just to have that sort of initial sort of chance to spend time with the car. Was really, really positive. In terms of like how to build your Golf and how to spec it, it's up to you. I do like the new sort of wheel designs. I do like the styling. You know, I think it's a nice little car. I think it's done a lot of additions, and the infotainment kind of being sort of the main part of it. And it's got like the new Golf Match, and it's just got a little bit of explanation sort of around the car, and the voice assistance with IDA as well, and how that kind of works with the car. I had a little bit of a play with it. I'm looking forward to spending more time with it actually with Volkswagen. I think that's kind of like a big part of it. And yeah, and sort of sharing it with you more, that's kind of the key. So you get an idea whether or not, yeah, it's something that you'd kind of want to go for. I did like the match trim. I'll be honest, I was always kind of a little bit confused about trims, but the match trim seemed to work quite well. It says sort of like the kind of equipment that you kind of get with the car. Again, have a good little play, see what works for you. You've got cool cars like the Golf GTI, which is coming soon. Yeah, and you've got a whole, I mean, at the moment it's the Life, the Match, the Style, and the R line, which you can kind of go through in a variety of petrol, mild hybrids and diesels. And that's kind of where you go now. And obviously price is corrected as you kind of check it through yourself. A lot of different little changes, and certainly I feel Volkswagen have listened to like their feedback, and one of the main ones was that interior, and that has changed. I say interior is fine. They've just changed the buttons on the steering wheel and obviously added this new sort of AI generated infotainment system. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the new Mark 8.5 Facelift Golf. But I wanted to do just like this little bit of an overview, just as I was kind of like reflecting some of my time sort of spending around it, sort of touching a few like materials and having a little look at it. And yes, I did have to look 2 or 3 times initially from a distance to see if it was the facelift. And I did have to ask them as well, as like, is this the facelift? So don't expect massive changes in terms of certainly the outside, although I do think the front styling looks nice and the new wheel designs look really, really nice too. The inside is the big part. And yeah, that's what I was going to show you guys, wasn't it? Let's see the screen sizes that you can kind of go through, details about the interior. And it should say there you go, with an optional 12.9-inch infotainment display. Now, I believe the 12.9-inch display was what was in the car that I tried. Again, trying to keep up. This is all very, very new and specific. So if I actually go and quickly just build, which I have done a build on this R line before, you've got the different options you can choose from. Go to the interior because that's what we want. We'll go for the options, I guess, and then in-car entertainment, and then you've got the standard equipment is the 12-inch display, 12.9-inch display. That's certainly on the R line. I wonder if we actually go back for a second and go to like the lowest trim, the lowest trim, which is the Life. I would probably go for a Match as like a standard personally, but yeah, let's just see on the Life, because by the time you actually option stuff that you want, I mean, if you just want a basic Golf, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But yeah, the basic Golf looks like it comes with, yeah, the 12.9-inch display as well. eSIM card for online connectivity, that's quite cool. So that's nice actually. If they all come with 12.9-inch display, which is what it's looking like it's saying here, then that's what you get with the infotainment. But yeah, the one thing for me, this is a community channel, so just let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's kind of the main part of this. And yeah, I'll happily kind of give you my feedback and hopefully share more. Well, I will be sharing more of you on the channel. So if that's something that you're interested in, like, share, subscribe. It really does help. Yeah, it just helps me get better content out for you, basically. More relationship with manufacturers. They'll look at the subscribers, they will look at the views. So that's a big part of it. And yeah, give me a follow as well. I'm on Instagram too. That's at SamAustin657, and obviously on YouTube. And yeah, I do a few stories and stuff, and yeah, I've got plenty of content sort of coming, and yeah, previous content you can check back on. But the big part of it, it's a community channel. Get involved in the comments, help each other out. That's the main part. And you know, ultimately, it's a big decision people have to make when they're choosing between a car. And you know, you've got to, yeah, you know, we're all here to help each other out, basically. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and yeah, a lot more content to come. Cheers, guys.